Okay, folks, this is Jim Voss, high above my garage, for just my opinion. I think that I'm still on suspension for saying something about the 2020 election that was not even direct, but an innuendo that something was wrong. So, our wonderful people that allow me to speak at YouTube put me on another 2 week suspension, which means it's my second strike. My third strike for speaking the truth will probably take me off the air. And just shy of buying a television and or radio station to get the word out, I'm pretty much stuck with where I am right now. As you'll notice, the man cave is destroyed because I am doing some work here and redesigning the studio and a few other things so that you can see there's boxes and trash and everything. But I just had to get on the air because it's like my crack. I've got to have my fix. So what I've decided to do is this. I'm going to give you a 12 or 15 minute sterile broadcast. Not going to use any bad language. Not going to use any innuendo. Not going to talk about anybody. I want the folks at YouTube to be thoroughly happy. I will be their robot tonight and just talk, of course, about things that have no bearing whatsoever on how we make a living or how we get along or the things that are bothering society. So I've got to not touch any of the people and or organizations that YouTube list and say you cannot talk about these people or places or these corporations. So I'm not going to. This is probably going to be the most boring podcast you will ever listen to, but I want it to make the good folks at YouTube happy that for once in their life they have converted someone into, instead of giving out the truth, just talking. So we'll make this podcast just my voice instead of just my opinion. Just my voice. Today, Dr. Fauci retired as the head of an organization, and I don't think he's retiring from practice, if that's what you call it. If he's going to retire from practice, but he is no longer going to be the czar of the United States. Now, my opinion on that is this. I don't care. I wish him the very best in all future endeavors, and I hope that he is remembered well by the history books and, of course, by all of the media that have bestowed so many accolades upon him. I hope that the WHO continues to flourish and put out good information and continues to acquire great vaccines that cure COVID and other diseases. I believe that the Department of Education for the United States is doing an excellent job in the promoting of the CRT, or the critical race theory. I believe that it is born out of a lot of hard work and research, and will do our children a wealth of good in order to be able to pick out and identify those children, friends, that are inferior to the forward movement of our society, and for the protocol that our government is pushing. I understand that today Mr. Gates said that the new virus would be 10 times worse than COVID ever was, and that it would take a brand new round of inoculations and booster shots, and possible a return to wearing masks and living indoors again. Now, this is straight from Mr. Gates. This is what he told the news today. My opinion on that is that Mr. Gates is a brilliant scientist who has never been involved in anything detrimental to the great health and the betterment of the American people. Therefore, I hope that he is firmly involved in the production of a new serum for this new type of disease. And I'm not sure what it is, but according to him, it's going to be far worse than COVID was. But Dr. Fauci will not be around to head up or spearhead the fight for returning to normalcy from this. I would assume this illness will be worldwide spread like COVID was. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but those people that are, I am sure, are brilliant scientists and know exactly what we have to do in order to bring about a more healthy and stable populace and government. Damn, this is difficult. I believe that Joe Biden will run again in 2024, and I believe, as in 2020, he will win again and have another 4 years as President of the United States. I do not know who his running mate might be, but I would assume that he would once again select Ms. Harris to be his VP. You would want to pick a VP that is steeped in politics and injected, if you would, with the ability to take over in case that Mr. Biden should pass away during his term as president. I mean, that is the responsibility of the VP, is to move up. And I know that she has a world of upper tier politics with world leaders, and I believe that she would do a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to the day, possibly in 2028, when she runs for president. I am not sure that she's going to run against President Biden. At least I hope not. I don't want anyone to hurt the Biden movement so that he may return to the helm of the ship and guide us in these turbulent and uncharted waters that we are trying to maneuver through with as little bit of collateral damage as possible. That can only be done by excellent leadership, of which President Biden has provided for us, along with his key players, Vice President Harris and Speaker of the House Pelosi, and of course Charles Schumer over in the Senate. Without these people to back the president, his forward-looking ideas and movement would not be as dynamic. But with their help, he is going to go down in the history books as probably the greatest president that we have ever had. And I am sure that right there in the annals of history will be Vice President Harris. I wonder if anyone out there knows of a host like YouTube that does not practice heavy-handed censorship, that allows those people who are up and up, who are looking for the real truth, to post the truth and be able to have it stay up longer than a few hours before it's brought down. If you know of such a place, if such a place exists within the internet, would you please leave me a message and let me know where this place is at? I am looking into buying a radio station in order to continue with my research, which I do a lot of, my research and just being a part of watching our nation be remolded into that forward-looking type of a nation is definitely an inspiration to me. This has been a 100% politically free zone, and I have tried my very best to stay away from the truth and away from my research in order to make sure that YouTube realized that I'm right there beside them, that I am a big-time supporter of the community standards, and I encourage the encroachment of people's ideas and the stifling of people's opinions and the removal of irresponsible researched opinion. And I will say that I think this has been one of the hardest broadcasts of my life. But I want you to know I haven't said anything off color. I haven't really cursed any. I have not talked about any individual in a derogatory manner, nor have I talked about any organization in a derogatory manner. Everything that I have said tonight has been very sterile and without emotion, and definitely without an opinion. So, you tell me, please, if you listen to this and if you do give me a like, please put down a comment so that I can see if you would like for me to continue to broadcast in this manner, or would you like for me to take the chance and broadcast just my opinion? Either way, the letter that I got back from YouTube thanked me for filing a request for reversal of the suspension. And although they sympathized with where I was trying to come from, the suspension stood. Now, like I said, I think I'm close. I think I'm close to getting out of YouTube heaven. I stayed in Facebook prison for quite a while, but I was enjoying the podcast because, first of all, you get to see my handsome face. By the way, I just went to my 55th class reunion over the weekend. And I garnered one truth. Old man, time is a son of a bitch. I looked into the faces of beautiful girls in high school that I used to chase. And instead of a jovial, dancing, drinking, hugging, kissing reunion, it was more akin to going to a viewing for a funeral. It was not my idea of a reunion. It just wasn't any fun. I'm a soft-hearted person. I cried. A lot of other people cried that night. But instead of staying to the very last, and last year I offered $100 to go for an extra hour to go to midnight. We bust up at 11. But by the time we had our picture made around 10 o'clock, people were headed home. No one had any fun. No one danced. It was just a lot of praying and playing of sad songs. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. And that, to me, is not a fun class reunion. But anyhow, back to the politics. I hope that I have made you, especially if you're a liberal, and you wouldn't be caught dead listening to my podcast, but in case you happen to be a liberal, Democrat, libertarian, listening to my podcast, I believe that you and I can find a happy, what do you say it, common ground. I could just say what you want to hear, and then I would get all kinds of rants and raves on YouTube that I gave you 20 minutes of baby food and smiled and let you know that this is like birthing a damn baby with no spinal block and no drugs. What can I do? If you know of another venue that would allow me to post the truth, the researched truth, please, when you listen to this, and I suggest you go get a drink as soon as you listen to this. I am. And as soon as you get your drink, how about give me a like, whether you mean it or not. But somebody put down a venue that you know of to help me out, because having to sit here and bullshit about nothing is just not any fun. High above my garage in Aiken, South Carolina, this is Jim Voss with a giant load of horse apples, in just my opinion. You take care of yourself. Remember, I love you. We still need to take that warm shower together. I hope I don't get booted off for that. That was vulgar. I take that back. I hope that you get to have a warm shower with the person and or the sex of whatever you choose it to be. If you're good at what you are, stay that way. Democrat, Republican, Independent, moron, idiot, bigot, Black Lives Matter, whatever you are, be good at it. Because our world definitely needs fresh leadership. God help. God bless you. I'll talk to you later.